Alright, welcome everyone to this new episode where I'm making my dream game and trying to compensate my lack of experience in doing so by using artificial intelligence tools like ChatGPT, generative AI, and Adobe Illustrator, GitHub Copilot, and whatnot. The intent is mainly to use it to make me go faster, learn things, not to necessarily have a whole game where everything is made by. Alright. So in the last episode there was an issue, so at the end you will notice there was an abrupt stop of the stream because OBS had crashed on. In the last episode we were working, let's quickly go to my to-do list. So we're working on a network module, so we were adding a new module to our proxy machines that currently just says like you need a network module to gain connection or to gain control of a machine or a robot. If it doesn't have a network module, you cannot take control of it remotely. However, if you have a copy of your own code, of your AI code on the computer, you can also control it. So we were setting up like kind of two main criteria to be able to control something. You're either remotely connected via an online network module, or you have a copy of your code on the computer. And when we tried to test that, a lot of things failed, mainly because of referencing null reference objects, so things were not properly set to certain objects. So basically that's the first thing we'll do here in this episode, is go through to debug the code that we made last time that wasn't readily working. And so actually I wrote here power module and research power charge physics, but I will delay that because I would rather first complete this thing, but then I would want to do a network manager, because currently all of this code is whether or not the player can connect to some device is now managed in the player script, and I don't really like that because I want to make a separate script which is kind of a meta script. It's not really an actual object in the game that like the player or a device or a machine, but it's a network manager, and I think it's like kind of a storage of like, okay, what are all the devices in this scene, what are all the proxies in this scene, which ones are online, which ones are offline, which ones have computer, which ones have a copy of you, and then basically it will make a list of available proxies that you can control as a player, and the player will then just look at the network manager and say, well, okay, I'm connecting to the network, which devices can I control? So that's what we will do. So the first step is to go back to the code. Have I already opened it? No. So I'm gonna just click one of the scripts here. It will open VS Code for me. There we go. So I was gonna say, I'm quickly gonna show you again how everything works, or what we have until now. Let's quickly just press play here and see what all the bugs are. But I think we should at least be able to move things. No, that's not true. No, because basically there's none of the proxies are available to move because they're idle. As you can see here, does not have an online network module, skipping, so it's not used. We can actually check it here in player. Should be a list. Controllable proxies is empty, even though this proxy well, let's check its network module. It has a network module, but it is not online. All right, let's put it online, but I think then there's still issues happening. So let's pause again and go to the code. Go to the player script here. Let's see. It's been a few days since the last script, so I'll also need to remind myself a little bit what we were doing. So this was the main function here. So find controllable proxies. This is what we were working on, and this is currently failing, as in like it returns no controllable proxies, even though some of them should be controllable. And it does that on the start. So when the player starts, it will check, are there controllable proxies? If there are none, it will say there are no controllable proxies, game over. And that's would actually be one of the states of the game where you would be game over, is when you have no more controllable proxies. But again, this should also not be in the player, it's to be in the game manager, or the network manager or one of those things, not in the player scripts. It also checks on every update for controllable proxies. And it should update that. Oh, that's already one thing. It should not just update it. It should then also set it. Set controllable proxy. And then here we're checking. We should check that if that's actually null, then proxy is null, just return. Don't try to do things if it's not possible, if there's no reference to it. So on start, we're checking to immediately set it, but then also when things are changing, when we toggle things on or offline or add components, should do that on every update currently in this rudimentary script, because again, these things have to move to other scripts, but let's just make it work here. Set player position. Should probably also put to set our position to the currently controlled should go last. So find all controllable proxies, set the controlling proxy to 0. Oh, this is not gonna work out though. Because this will keep setting it to the first one on the list. So that's also not a good idea. So we shouldn't set it, because actually we can use our switch we have a button for that right now. We can press E or A or E to switch to the previous or next one. So the update shouldn't do that. It should just find them and then set our position. So that's more correct. We should put some debugs here. Control proxy, there you go. And debug controllable count. Let's just show, yeah, sure. And we should go to the network module and maybe set that is online is by default true, so that let's just assume everything is going fine. Right, controllable proxies, what does it do? It finds all the proxies, game object proxy, where any game object with a tag proxy, which is all of the Roomba, is the only one here right now. I'll just quickly show you. Oh yeah, if you switch between VS Code and Unity, it always does this loading. So it has a tag of proxy. So we're checking that. It should have a list. Maybe we should debug that list and show all of them. Wait, let's do list proxy game object. This is mostly for debugging though. Oh, but that won't. What does this return actually? I don't even know if that will that return a list? I'm not sure. No, that's gonna give an error for sure. So what does it say? Cannot implicitly type game object. Oh yeah. Sorry, it has to be game object. Unity Engine game object to system collection generic list. Okay, well, let's not do it then. Let's make it an array. So this should work. So these are proxy game objects. And we should be able, so the reason why I'm doing it, because I wanted to make sure actually controllable, let's say serialize field, all proxies, just so we know that at least it finds them. Okay, so first it's gonna loop, just puts them all in the list just to see if it found at least all of them. If proxy component, sure, has to have script, right? Proxy name. I'm gonna quickly comment this out on the update, just so that we see what happens if we run it once. Proxy name, it's gonna find both of these. So for each proxy in all the proxy game objects, we're gonna get two components, the computer and the network, because those are two very important components to determine whether or not you can actually control it. When can you control it remotely? If, first of all, there has to be a computer. Then the network module must be present and it must be online. Then you can control it remotely. If you can also potentially control it locally, in that there must be a computer and that computer must have the player AI. And that's the same thing. I should also put it at true here by default as player AI. And now currently I'm just doing it like a hard-coded like this case, but these are things that need to be managed later on. If you can control it remotely, or if you can control it locally, it will be added to the list of controllable proxies. Else, okay, and then the list is 0. If the count is 0, no controllable proxies found, return false, else return true. Why did I do that again? Returning a boolean. I don't like that. Let's just remove this. Is there any false code? Yes, there's still something wrong here. Oh yeah, that's why. Okay, maybe we should leave it. I will remove it afterwards, but right now, let's just do that. Okay, all the code is valid, so let's go back and play. We need to check the console. YouTube is not responding. Open Studio. Seems to be another issue. I don't know why that happens every now and then. Everything's still live though, so that's fine. Okay. Let's go back. Let's clear the console. And let's press play. I'm gonna press pause. Although I think nothing is being called on update though. There you go. Installing module, Roomba. Sure, so everything's installed, that's fine. Roomba does not have an online network module or player AI. Which is false actually. Can be controlled remotely, false. Can be controlled locally, false. It says all of these are false. I think, again, I know why this is happening. And it's the same reason as before. It's because we're calling this in the start of an object and the other objects are probably not even instantiated yet. And this is why we need a network manager. So I think maybe I should already immediately move to some kind of a different script. And that should also be right. We'll just have to do that. So let's immediately do that. Let's create a new script called Network Manager. There you go. Network Manager. Let's move. This whole function here. Find controllable proxies. This should all be done by the network manager. Hey, what are you doing? I didn't ask for anything. All proxies, controllable proxy. Also should move it to the network manager. So this is just taking control. Now we can actually add a few more different ones like online proxies. Offline proxies and controllable proxies. which are the ones that have computers. Online proxies, offline proxies, then the one that are controllable. Oh yeah, this is so stupid actually. I should just move this code here. So this component should be gotten first. Yes. That's a bit of a thing, like there's a big difference between, like, let's say the player game object and the player script, but when you're coding, it often seems to be written like with the same variable. You could say like player script and player game object, but as far as I know, it's not good practice to use type references in your variables. But for now I'll do it because I don't know a better way to do it. So there's a difference between components and game objects, and that's what we're doing here. Right. There we go. All proxies. Network proxies. Just give it a name. Network proxies. Proxies with a network module. Actually, I should call it proxies with a network module. Proxies with a network module. And then with a computer model, yes. And then we have online and online, and then we still have proxies with player AI. There you go. It suggested it for me. This is perfect. So this whole network manager is going to keep a whole bunch of lists, and keep in mind that proxies can belong to multiple lists. It's just references, so it's not really going to duplicate these things. And some of these lists we might not need, but this is what we'll do. Meaning that, okay, proxy, we're gonna collect all the game objects that are proxies. That's the first thing. There you go. Then we're gonna loop over them. We're gonna get their the proxy script component. We're gonna add it to all proxies because that's the first thing we need to do. Then proxy module if, there you go. If it's not null, then we'll add it to proxies with a computer module. Same thing for the network. It's going to be a bit of an extensive piece of code, which I will shorten later on, but we need to kind of see what's going wrong here. And maybe we should also cool. we should only do this after we've checked the network module. So here we're checking computer modules, we're checking network modules. Once we have network modules, we can also check if it's actually online or not. There you go. As network module, as computer module. Well, let's put this into false because I wanted to control it a little bit later on. Yeah, you don't use it, that's fine. As computer module, true. As computer module, false. Same here. Oh, you should know by now. Yeah, there you go. You should know what to do. There you go. See, this is so nice. This is why I like Copilot. Just for not having to type, and it sometimes just helps giving suggestions. So that's nice. Sometimes I kind of know what I need to do, and I'm like I can't come up with it, and then Copilot just says, "Well, isn't this what you're supposed to do now? Because I've seen you do all of these things. This is like the next logic step." It's useful. So which means that normally I can just replace this with like as network module and end is online. Oh, same here. Oh, that's computer module. Never used. What are you saying? Oh yeah, I'm assigning, but I haven't used it yet. That's true. As computer module. Cool. As player AI. Where do I check that? You can check that here. There you go. This is terrible code for sure. But I'm trying to figure out as to why it wasn't working before. That's why I'm trying to simplify it. And then, oh yeah, we missed one, which is controllable proxies. There you go. Controllable proxies. There you go. All right. When is this run? At the start, when the network manager is updated. And then also actually on every update. Now, of course, this is a bit of a long piece of code, and if you need to run that all the time on every update, that might not be the best thing to do. So in the future, we should just like update it when something actually changes, when like a component is added to the scene, or when something is being taken offline or whatnot. But I have to check get some information what is the best thing to do here. So the most important part here is that we need to reference the player here also. So let's serialize fields. And that's player is a game object. Player. Right. Because so a lot of stuff is we need to call this method not on the player start, but the network manager will call this. This is also no longer necessary. Controllable proxies. We should have a reference to the network here. Network manager. And then network, like all of these things need to be exchanged by, we need a method on the network manager, get controllable proxies, public list. Come on, you should figure this out. Get controllable. This is weird. Right. Now all of these need to be replaced by network manager dot get controllable proxies. Not valid in the given context. Oh yeah, you have to. Oh, damn it. You need to put the brackets. Okay, there you go. Now, so the network manager should basically let's just quickly check this function, which is get called. Yeah, if it's null, just return do nothing. So the player script shouldn't do anything, and it should also not give you any errors like empty instance. So it's also check for that. But if the network hasn't started up, the player is just in limbo, like nothing happens. But it's the network manager that's gonna set up the network first by finding all controllable proxies. And after that, it should find the player. It should say it should set the players. Let's do it like this though. Let's make a script called initialize player. Initialize player. There you go. Yes. No network manager find. That's fine. Then say yes. Controlling proxy. Yes, this is what I want. And then the network manager is gonna call player dot initialize player. Oh, actually first need to get component, yes. But it's not initialize, it's initialize player. No? Oh. Oh, it should be public, otherwise it's not accessible. Yes. Let's do some debugs. Debug finding controllables. Initializing player. Find object of type, which is fine. Just find the network. Because the player is nothing without the network, or at least one controllable proxy. So there's no point in allowing the player to do anything if there is no network, and if there's no network with at least one controllable proxy. Because if it's not, it's game over. Where did I say like game over? Probably in find controllable proxies, right? Somewhere. Where did I type game over? It's somewhere here. It's not. Game over like this. Thought it was written somewhere. Right, let's just quickly check, but all the text seems to be fine. We should put a second Roomba in the game. Is this Roomba actually updated? Let's apply all. Let's copy paste it. Oh, that doesn't work. Oh, there you go. Right, and this one we'll do a few things. Let's rename them. Roomba without network. Let's remove its network module. Let's copy this one again. Let's call it Roomba without computer. Roomba without computer. Let's remove its computer module. And we also have Roomba that has both, but it's offline. Wait, any other one? Oh well. With offline, whatever. With offline, it's fine. Let's just see what happens if I press play now. Because there's an awful lot of bad code over there, and I hope. Wait, no bugs? Okay, let's go to the network. Oh, obviously, I didn't put the network in. Right, create empty. Network manager. Let's link. On the other hand, it's not a bad thing that there's no actual errors if there's no network. I don't want to have errors, even though game's over. It doesn't mean it should give any errors, right? Right, let's play that again. Now we should get errors. I'm sure there has to be errors. No errors. Let's check the network manager. All proxies 4, so that's good. It already found all of them. Proxies with a network module. List is empty. Empty list. Offline proxies. It says all of them are offline. That might actually be true though. Because they're all set to offline. Oh. We should do it here. Because once you work with the serialized field, it seems like that's kind of overtakes this part. That's why I should do it on the start again. But anyways, there's still an issue though, like it was still strange that it couldn't. Maybe I'm looking at the wrong things. Let's see. Roomba with offline does not have a computer module. That's false because I can see it right here. Proxy module computer. Oh, wait. I know. When are proxies installing everything here? This should also not be called by the proxy itself, or at least not on start. So again, let's say public initialize such a hard word to write. Initialize proxy. Yes, public void, and I'm gonna call this by the network manager, but in theory this should be called by the game manager because that's the one like initializing all of the modules and the things. But so before you can find controllable proxies, we need to have a list of all proxies, which we have actually. Oh, you know what? That's actually a better idea. I can initialize a proxy right here in this code. There you go. Proxy.initialize proxy. There you go. And then it should find the modules. I'm still not 100% sure that that's how I like it, because now a lot of code is into one function, so we need to put them all into smaller functions, but quickly check my stream because last time I failed to see that it had crashed, but it seems to be fine, right? Honestly, I think there's a small chance that this will actually not work. Yes, I think it worked because there's less errors, but there should be some warnings at least. If you go to the network manager, yes, there you go. So all proxies, all of them have a network module, which is not true though. It's strange that the one without a computer is correctly not online proxies. Is everyone online? Yes, they should be. The question is, why is the one without a network still listed as having a network? Can I quickly check if I can actually switch to one of these positions? Oh yeah, that's another issue. Just find the player. Find player object in the scene. No, I honestly don't really like to drag objects in the inspector, because if you then forget it at some point then it won't work. I'd rather do it with the script. And then switch to, yeah, sure, because it didn't. That's fine. I think now it should work, other than the error. Oh wait, did that work? Yeah, reloading. Let me quickly go here. So network manager. Yeah, so we're not gonna do any of these today, so just wanted to finish this. Alright, let's press play. Ideally, we should be able to switch between at least 3 of the... Oh, there you go. Oh, what's happening? It's like rotating. Oh, that's because it literally only has one wheel. That's funny. Okay. Anyways, I switched. Oh, I switched to another Roomba, which is good, but I'm no longer following it. Oh, that worked. Wait, why is this working? Oh, they're no longer interacting with each other. Why is that? One of them is not being switched to because it doesn't have a computer. It should not be controllable, yet it is. Let's check the network manager. Oh, press play again. Controllable proxies. See, all of them are set as controllable, and this should not be possible because the one without a computer should not be controllable. So that's definitely a mistake. That's probably the reason why it also gives an error then, because it's trying to set its position to the computer, but there's no computer. Okay, let's go back to the network manager. Let's go over it one more time. Find all the game objects which are proxies. Yes. Loop over them. Get the script component. Initialize it. Add it to the list of all proxies because it is all proxies. Then we're setting a few booleans that we want to check. Does it have a network module? Has player AI? Where is the is online one? Oh. Yes. Single name, sure. Get the module computer. If it's not null, we can say as a module. Let's log it because for some reason, yes. If it's not null, it has it. We can already add it to proxies with a computer module, regardless of whatever else it doesn't have. Second thing, once it has a computer, we can check also, does it have player AI? We can add it to proxies with player AIs. Has player AI is true. Great. Why is this one unnecessary assignment of a value to has network module? Why? Can I just not assign it? I think you always need to do at least something, right? Whatever. Does not have computer, does not have a player AI stored. Skipping. Well, it's not necessarily skipping though. That's from before. So we're just setting all of our booleans. Then we get the network. Let's also show it because there was also something strange going on there. Show me. Debug. Has a player AI stored. Does not have player AI stored. Fine. Great. Debug. Proxime has a computer module. Yes. Debug. Has a network module. Does not have a network module. False. True. False. True. Yes. We can put this into the network module one because you can't be online anyway. You don't have a network module. That remains false. Is online proxy get install module. Well, we don't actually have to fetch that again because we already have it. Oh, but this is also false though. Dot is online, yes. Can put this like in here. Debug it. This can greatly be simplified for sure, but I just want to start from a point where it works and then refactor it later. So we put them in all different categories, but we're still not saying anything about whether or not be controlled. And then there's two types: can be controlled remotely, has network module, and is online. Okay, can control locally, fine. And right, so it has to be and. We're not doing anything with that now, so might as well just not do it. Public, right. There you go. Okay. Any red files? Nope. Let's go back. And now we're just gonna have to go through the debug. No, a lot of bugs. I don't actually mind bugs. Like, I enjoy the process. Let's just chill. Wait, what? That was strange. Reference script missing. Let's try it again. Okay, let's pause the game. Let's go all the way to the top. Finding controllable proxies. Installing modules first. Right, so we have our first proxy. We have the Roomba with offline. We're installing all the things. Install, check. Now we're checking it. We found its computer, which is normal because with offline has a computer. By the way, you can also see here the first Roomba, it's looping over is random, right? It doesn't have, it's not according to the order in the list. It's like, it's pretty random. So that's why these managers are important, to make sure things happen in the correct order. I think there's probably maybe other ways to do it, but that's how I've seen it in the tutorials where they use game managers. Computer, yes, sir. Roomba with offline has a computer module, yes. Roomba with offline does not have a player AI stored. Is that true though? Module computer. It says has player AI. Was it? Oh, again. Yes, I know what's wrong here. It's always the same issue though. This now has to... Okay, I need to go to proxy module, initialize module. Yes, it's already there, and now I need to override it. Is it also public override? Check that out. That's so amazing. My GitHub knows exactly that that's what I wanted to do right now, is to override the initialize module. How does it know that? No clue. Maybe it's so obvious. Same thing for the network module. So I think because all our components are so tightly connected and the order in which things are initialized, I can't use any of these start functions of these components. This all needs to be managed by its parent, whether that be the proxy, is the parent of the modules, and then the proxy's parent is basically the proxy network, etc, etc. Yeah, so you don't have anything to do with this. You just set it's online. Initializing computer module, yes. And then probably, do we have other modules? Locomotion, yes. That's just... Oh, but this is already the case. See, we already fixed that there. And I know that it looks like I'm overcomplicating things now with all the modules and that, but because I know that the game I'm looking for is where these modules on machines is really what I want to go for. I think it's important to have a relatively flexible system now, which will make it much more easier in the future to extend on that. I think. I hope. We'll see. Let's pause. Let's quickly check the network just to see if it's already correct. It says controllable proxies. It has all 4 of them, but the one without a computer should not be in that list. So there's still a mistake there. And the one without a network should also not be here. Right, so let's... Binding control. Okay. Honestly, I'm wondering if I should remove some of the logs on initializing module, because this is now really taking a lot of space in this console log, and that thing should, well, good question. Let's just check though. Network module power. What the hell is this? Oh, I already added that because that was supposed to be something we will do later on. Oh, I see. This is why it works, because there is actually a copy. So you should never add stuff that you're not actually dealing with. So I added the power module, and the power module is currently holding the network script. That was stupid. And it was even an accident that I checked it, so that's even more stupid. which is probably the one and only reason why everything was failing. Amazing. Let's hope that that was the reason. Let's go to the network manager. There's still one here that has, oh, there it is. I could see it. Oh yeah, now I deleted stuff when I was in play mode, which is even worse. The power modules need to go. Let's go. I should make the network module already a prefab also. I think that would be easier. Proxy modules. Yes. Which I think I can't do, right? Yes, open prefab. It's always so strange. Move this, by the way. Okay, this should work. And probably it would have already worked before without me expanding all that code. Still not working. Although it is correct. So the ones have a network module, correct, they're all there. Ones with a computer mode, yes, they're all there. Online proxies. You see Roomba with this one says it's offline, so it shouldn't. Let's go check. Proxy scripts, network module. Although it says it is online. Oh, yes. Meaning I should change it. Can I do this? Does that work? Yes, it does. All right, proxy module computer. Let's not do that again here. Let's just put it all in the that's a lesson I've had myself in other projects as well, where you are implementing more than one feature at the same time and then you forget about the second feature because you get all caught up in that first feature, and then you have that second feature half worked out, which is basically causing bugs that you don't realize. So never add stuff that you're not working on or that's not ready. Again, this is just okay, yes. But now it says 0 controllable proxies, which is interesting. Because now they're all offline. But there should be one. No, none of them have anything. Right, so let's go back to this Roomba. We need to copy this one as well. So we have Roomba. Well, the Roomba has everything it needs to have. So it has a computer, it has player AI, it has a network, and it is online. There we go. So this one should be playable. This one will have everything. Wait, this one will be offline, but with AI. It has a network, it has a computer. It's offline, but it has AI. Right. This one is offline without AI. Should be no. Well, let's rename here as well. But yes. And this one is also a yes. So the ones with a yes should be uncontrollable and the ones without a yes should be somewhere else. Just for fun. Yes, yes, no. Without computer, big no. No computer is no controllable. It doesn't matter what else you have. You can have an online, see, you can have an online network, should not be controllable. Without network, it doesn't have a module, but if it does have an AI on its computer, it should be a yes. Let's check that. Yes. I should save the scene, because these things are things that are completely controlled in the scene and not in the code, so we need to make sure. Okay, let's try it. All the yeses please in the correct list, all the no's. It's not all good. All proxies, sure, we have 5 proxies, that's fine. With a network module, there's only one that shouldn't be here, which is the Roomba without network, which is not in this list, that's fine. With a computer module, yes, this is correct. Online proxies, there's only 2 online proxies without a computer. Without a computer, let's check. Without a computer, network is online though, so it's correct that it's still in that list. The normal Roomba is online. Good. Offline proxies, offline but with AI. See, this one should be controllable. The one without a computer should not be controllable. There should only be 2 controllable ones. Can I check here? Can I search in this? I want to check for Roomba without, because I suck at typing. All right. Does not have a computer module. So why is it in the list of controllable proxies? It's unacceptable. Roomba without computer. Roomba without computer. Roomba without computer. There you go. Does not have a computer module. You're right. Can be controlled remotely. It says true. Oh, yeah. That's completely correct. It still has to have a computer module. There you go. That's a big mistake. It always has to have a computer. Always. This should work now. Oh, wait. Clicking too many things at the same time. Yes, all the yeses are here. Good. Should we also make one for uncontrollable ones? Yes. Uncontrollable proxies. There we go. And this thing is way too big, so we should definitely... Well, the reason why it's a bit bigger is also because I'm making all these different lists. Even though none of them are actually useful right now. Uncontrollable. Yes, great. This seems to be working. Okay, can I actually control them? There you go. I can control 3 out of 5, and I can not switch to the ones on the left there. You see? I can now. Okay, this is weird. This is because it's a one-wheeled Roomba that it moves like that. This is strange. I think this is also because... Wait, If I see I have this bump here, I think I can solve it by a few things. I will do it here because this is the actual apply all. The locomotion one, there you go. Why? Oh, I'm not looking at the right one. There, all right. Okay, so if we look at this, if we just put it upwards, oh. Okay, I'm gonna delete all the other ones. Wait, why did I do that? I will not do that because it took me a lot of work to set them up. Just need to move them around. Right. Get a little bit higher. I think they should work. They shouldn't rotate as much. Will all of them get that now? Yeah, they do. Yeah, it just needs to fix because then you don't have that like wobbly bunny butt. Whoa. This looks pretty bad though. Why did that one thingy start moving though? Anyways, we need to work on these sprites because the bottom should actually be completely flat for these things. But that's not an issue right now. Okay, so we have our network manager. That's fine. Which has control over what things are available and not. I'm just wondering. So my network manager has a reference to the player. And the reason why it has that is because it is saying to initialize the player. Now I wonder if I should just don't do that and the player will just be scanning the network. I think that's a better idea on update. Like avoid scan network for controllable proxies. Let's put the question again. Does it need to do that like on every update? Every update it would check the network and see if the list is empty. But I wonder, and there's so many things that happen on update, right? Okay, that's not what you need. Can I say private for like, I guess, scan network for controllable proxies? And then if network manager dot, oh yeah, sure, if it's null, sure, return. If no, I just want a getter on the controllable proxies. That's all I want. Oh, I already have that. List proxy equal, oh sorry, yeah. The question becomes, do I want to have a list of controllable proxies on the player object? Does the player want to maintain that list, or does it keep it in the network? And do I just, if I'm scanning for control, thing is that if this scan fails, the game is over. So why am I even... This is not a thing for the player to do. Once you set the player in its initial controllable proxy, the game has started. That's how the game starts. You start in at least one controllable proxy. If after that there are no controllable proxies, the game is over. And that's it. Unless there's unless there's still a chance for a controllable proxy to come online like 1 minute later. But maybe that's something to check for later. Let's not worry about that. So let's remove that again. I'll still let the I don't even know if I want to. This is too much of a complex function only to do just this. So let's not initialize the player. Checking for network and blah blah blah, but actually just the network should exist anyway. If the network doesn't exist, it doesn't even matter. So it should just say player here. Set controlling proxy. Yeah, there you go. So the network is the first thing that actually does something. It's going to find controllable proxies. It's going to initialize those proxies by looking for all proxies, initializing them. There's a lot happening in this function, so that's what I don't like. So this function needs to be put into smaller functions for sure. So honestly, there should be a different function here. Find all proxies, which is the first function. And we can even like put it like here, all proxies is equals find controllable proxies. No. Find all proxies. Find controllable proxies will get a list of proxies. So it doesn't have to like find them anymore. I'm gonna give it to you. Oh wait, I don't even have to give it because it is all proxies. So for proxy in all proxies, and you don't do that anymore. And then it's initialize all proxies. Initialize all proxies. It's another function. I don't actually need this. There you go. Find all proxies. Initialize all proxies. Initialize all proxies. There you go. There you go. Find all proxies. These should all be. None of them should be. Apparently, they should all be private. For each proxy and all proxy, initialize proxy. There you go. So we can remove this quote as well. Once we found them, so we look for them by tag. We immediately add them also to those, so that's fine. So this function is doing two things. Oh. That's the thing, now I'm looping over the all proxies twice, so I don't know if that's a good idea. Because I could also initialize them in not one function. I'm gonna keep it like this for now, but in the future, we don't necessarily need to do that. Oh yeah, this should be void, because we're setting, we don't return anything. Initialize them. We don't need to do this again. We also don't need to do this again. And once I'm done with this, it should be the end of the stream. Just refactoring the code a little bit. Find all proxies, initialize all proxies, and then find controllable proxies. Game object, find me with tag. Just do this in one thing, I guess. Let's remove these debugs. I think having all this list is a bit of overkill right now, but I think I will need those lists anyway in the future, because if I want to map out all of the proxies, it's good to have these different lists, because that's how in the UI I might want to show them anyway. Although it might make more sense to then loop over all proxies and like do it. Although no, I guess it's better to just have that list rather than have to loop it every time. Anyways. Now this is all if else statements, so that's fine. And then, so it must have an online, or the computer must have a code. There you go. Should put that comment up. I think it's the worthy comment to explain a bit why it should not be a log, because it's not an actual bug. None of these are actual bugs though, so all of them, because if we continue after this, then all of this is going to clutter my logs for other stuff. So I would say this function is a bit of overkill, but that's only because I'm maintaining a lot of different lists here, which are now maybe a bit useless, but at least I already split up the function into finding all the proxies, initializing all the proxies, and then finding controllable proxies, and then setting the first one in that list to the player. And that's how the game starts, because in the beginning, in the first scene, there will be one controllable proxy, which is the little Roomba, and from then on the game starts. So the only thing I'm still, so this is called the network manager, which currently most of what it does is that, but you could argue that some of this should be done by the game manager, rather than the network manager, because the network manager is still like a thing. The network of connected devices is still a very much a game thing. I mean, a gameplay thing. While a game manager, I guess, more like meta, is like putting the player in the world, which is not a gameplay mechanic. It's just setting up the game. And I would maybe argue that, especially this part, initializing the player, is not a gameplay mechanic. Sounds more like a meta game thing. In any case, I think I'm happy with this. We should definitely test it one more time. And luckily I kept all of my different types of Roombas, and if they're all listed in the list that they should be, then I'll be happy. And then we kind of have our first ecosystem of allowing the player to control multiple controllable proxies in some kind of a very generic level. If that works, we can move on to start dealing with a power management, where proxies need power to run, and if you're out of power, I still don't know why that happens though. Jeez, oh, you didn't see that? There's still one of them. Oh, well, let's check the network manager. Uncontrollable proxies 1. And fill with Roomba with offline without AI. This one should not be controlled. There's a small mistake here. This one should not be in that list. Didn't change much though. Initialize all, find all proxies. Sure, I'm initializing all proxies. Has player AI is true. Wait, but is it actually true? Without AI? Is it actually without AI? No, it says has player AI, so that's a scam. It should be offline. It's still being like, no, shouldn't. Don't know what happened there. So it was misset, so that's fine. So with AI, yes, checked. Without AI, unchecked. Without network, there is absolutely no network, but it does have AI, so that's fine. Okay, let's do it again. Wait, let's save the scene. Also, I'll quickly press play and move on to the top here, because you will see that one of my Roombas flies out of the screen. I don't know why. That's an issue for later. I can't seem to switch though. Let's check. Controllable devices. Oh, very likely this one is also not. It might still be online though. See, I don't know why that happened though. Oh, sorry, not this one. See, this one's set to online. Why? I thought all that code was like dealt with. That just shouldn't happen. These debugs as well, because proxy rigid body, that's not used anymore, so let's get rid of that. Network module. I think it's a scene issue. Regardless of that, there's still an issue with switching, but we'll look at that later. But I think I already know why it's happening, because we changed something. Right, this is correct now. Okay, great. Now, why can't I switch it? It says, this is pretty cool though. You can click this and it will take you to the piece of code that resulted in that. Network manager, get controllable proxies. So what is it saying? Object reference, if network manager. Oh, I'm not setting the network manager, which is probably something that happened in initialize player. So we should still yes, exactly, which you don't have in it. Public void, yes. I don't like this though. Like, why should I don't want to reference the network manager. I would love to reference the network. And the network is basically, but what is the network though? It's like an object that contains all of these lists. That would be my network. That would be nice. A list of lists. How would we do that? Serialized fields. A list. Does that even work? Of lists? It works. Proxy network. So once all of these are set, right? We should like say proxy network. Add online proxies. But I don't even know, do objects work the same way here? Like, can you access them with dot notations? Dot. Don't think that's how it works though. Find. Okay, I'm making things a bit too complex now. Wait, but I don't need a reference to the network manager. Do I? Oh yeah, I do. It's okay. Let's just do it then. So it's fine. This all works. It's not the best, but this should work. It's a bit crappy code, I think, in my opinion. And we should definitely refactor that later on when we have more of a, when the network becomes more of a thing. Okay, but everything works now again. I can switch between the three oh, this one was controllable, but it got kicked out. There should be two of them that are no longer controllable. Can I still see them somewhere? No. Why would they get that kick though? Definitely add that as a bug. But anyways, I think I managed to do what I wanted to do. So we added network modules, and which allows in some cases that you can control it remotely without actually having a copy of yourself on the, and that state is currently being very artificially, you know, set just as true or false, but we'll see that in the future how that is managed. And we have a network manager, so we moved all of that code away from the player script, which I think is a good thing, because the player should just connect to the network. So like, oh, I have a reference to the network and I'm looking, is there anything I can control there? But that's also done. That's what I wanted to do today in this stream, and we reached that. We have some rumors flying around. Maybe one thing that I do want to, is this like the most updated prefab? Can I, if I go here? No, see, that's the thing. I don't want any of those to override the actual prefab, because this is the most complete prefab that has everything, and everything is fine. So that's fine. But these are good to kind of keep the test stuff. So looking at our robots, we have a computer controller, we have a network not a controller, a network module, a computer module, a locomotion module, a structural module, and our player can now switch between different proxies and take control of them. And whether or not something is controllable is now managed by our network script, so that when we throw like proxies into the game, the network manager will, currently it only does it at the start of the game, so some of that code should actually be bundled into a super function that maybe gets called on every update. But then that's a lot of stuff that needs to be checked on each update, so I'm not sure if that's the way I want to go. I think it's better to just call the network manager when certain things are happening, like when a device goes offline, call the network manager and say, hey, I just went offline, take me out of that list, which is a bit weird, I guess. But I think scanning the whole scene continuously on every update and checking all the states of all the devices, I think that will, I don't think that's a good idea. But we could maybe ask ChatGPT about that, like if that's a good idea or not, but that's for next time. All right, great. That was fun, at least for me. I hope people watching learn something about how a new game developer like me can use Copilot and ChatGPT and AI generated art to get a game going. I was listening to a podcast today, someone mentioning also the same as I did before, like having at least some art, some decent art at the start of the game makes it really much more enjoyable, especially if you're doing this as a hobby. Because a lot of other developers say don't focus on the artwork, just work with cubes and whatnot, but for me it's much more enjoyable to make the game like this because you have something to see and to do, and with the AI generated things. And I use Adobe Illustrator to do that, but actually you could just do that with ChatGPT free tier probably. So yeah, I would definitely advise to do that if you're like me and you want to have at least some decent art in your game while developing, which makes it much more fun for me. So great. All right, thanks for watching and see you next time. And if you like what you're seeing and you like following, I would say like and subscribe and get notified of my next streams. See ya. Bye.